opening on October the 1st. So Royal Scoop, we appreciate those guys down there. They've been a sponsor for a few months now, and we love those guys. And we actually had one of our candidate forums down there. Oh, shit, I forgot to do the speed round questions with Chris. He was a great guest. I don't know if you had a chance to hear him. We could go on for a whole hour. He's a talker. All right, Charlie, before we get going and we tell everybody who you are, we have to do a speed round of questions. You know what that means? That means I play the clock. You can't hear it, but our 9 listeners can hear it. And I ask you very personal questions. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go. The clock is running. Are you a dog or a cat person?
Cat.
You can't take this long. That was an easy question, Charlie. You're going to have to step it up a little bit. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
What was your favorite TV show growing up?
Dobie Gillis.
No idea what that is. What is that? Dobie Gillis. Was that a show or
Yes, it was.
a person in a show?
No.
It was a show. Gotcha.
That's the guy that played Gilligan on Gilligan's Island.
It was not.
No, it was not. He didn't play Gilligan. It was another guy that played Gilligan.
Who was the guy that played Gilligan? That's a great trivia question. What was the guy's name?
He was the one on. He got lost. Whatever it was.
3 hour tour.
Yeah.
But what was the guy's name? What was his real name? Gilligan. Anyway, back to the question.
Bob Denver.
That's it.
Is that right? Did you get that right?
He did.
I got to give you a bell for that, Grandpa. All right. What was your favorite movie of all time? Don't say Top Gun. You're out.
I'm not going to say Top Gun.
Thank you.
I'm going to say
Thank you, Parker.
Doctor Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove. Is that like a James Bond movie?
No.
No. Okay. Who is the most important, most interesting person in your life outside your family?
Probably the headmaster at the school I got thrown out of.
Okay. There's definitely a story there. We'll ask you about that later. If you had 30 minutes and a tape recorder, who would you interview and why?
I don't know. There's way too many people that I'm interested to find out about. I can't name one.
I'll accept that. You sure you don't want to phone a friend or something, or are you good? You're good.
No,
All right. What is your most embarrassing moment in life?
Too many to name.
No, you're not getting away with that. Did your pants fall down somewhere? Everybody else's pants fell down somewhere.
No, my pants didn't fall down.
No.
Getting thrown out of school.
All right. Well, that's a repeat. But anyway, Charlie Green. Charlie Green. I have a very crappy memory, Charlie. You have a history with Fort Myers Beach. Before we tell everybody why you're here, tell us about you grew up here on Fort Myers Beach.
I grew up on Fort Myers Beach. I came here as a baby in 1947.
Crazy.
My family goes back 5 generations in Southwest Florida. My grandfather lived on Fort Myers Beach. We stayed 9 years. Then we moved to town for 3 years and moved back to the beach where Paradise was. My father and all my father's family were all commercial fishermen. I am not a commercial fisherman, but I did a lot of commercial fishing.
So you were down here like when there was a drawbridge and when this was a road here. You saw
no drawbridge. It was
okay.
a swing bridge.
Oh, sorry.
And it would get stuck open, and you were stuck on the island until they fixed it. And as a kid, it was fun to ride on there if you knew the bridge tender. And when it broke down, he'd ask you to help take the manual wrench to close it.
Do you have pictures from those times? That
we have some.
Yeah. What else do you remember from back in those days about the beach? It's so different now.
I can remember when I was in first grade telling my mother I was going to walk down to the beach and go swimming, and she'd say, "Be home for lunch." We had almost free run of the beach. We knew everybody on the beach, and everyone knew my dog, which probably could be one of my most embarrassing moments, but I won't go into detail.
Because of everybody knowing your dog or something?
Everybody knew my dog. It was the reason why they knew my dog.
Okay.
Next question.
I see. All right. Lots of secrets today, Charlie. I'm not so sure I like the secret part of what's going on here. So when you look at the beach now and you see how it's changed, do you think it's changed for the better?
I can understand why a lot of people like the beach. The beach has always drawn people that are looking to relax. It's drawn people that are interested in, having a good time. It's a easy place to live. You can't beat the sand and you can't beat the water. it's a, I know why people moved here. I have no hard feelings for those people that moved in.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you really answered my question, but thank you for whatever that answer was. So you then got involved in politics.
I did, but the clerk's office is really not political. It's
Right.
a ministerial office.
Like a church office, you say?
No.
Okay. When you talk about the clerk's office, you tell us what you mean. You're
The clerk's office,
clerk.
Yeah. Clerk of the circuit court in Florida has basically two major responsibilities. They keep all the court records and disperse them. They keep all the county records. All these are official records, and utilize those for open to the public. And they invest and pay all the county's bills. So it's really you're the chief accountant and also the chief record keeper.
That's a pretty big job.
Yeah, there was about 300 of us in there.
And how much money was coming in?
And sometimes we'd have almost $1,700,000,000 in there in the bank, 700 million. But that was right at the beginning, and then throughout the year you disperse it and funds come and go.
Gotcha. And so, are you going to participate at all today, or are you just going to sit here the whole time? Any questions for Charlie?
I'm waiting for the good stuff to start.
I see. So you were in that position what years and until when?
I was elected in 1984, and I left office about 10 years ago.
Okay. So you were there a long time.
Yeah.
So, and did you work with the judges too? You deal with the judges?
Yes.
And so any funny conversations you can share with us about the judges? And because nobody gets really to see behind the curtain or behind the robe.
Well, they're not supposed to, but the judges are human. We have a lot of really good judges in Lee County. We have some that are questionable, but that,
Which
that's
ones?
in any. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I see. Well,
Good answer.
Yeah. So what's it like working with the judges?
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, we pushed through getting all of the records on in the computer and having an open access for the records so that people outside of the courthouse could have access. You can access the records now from almost anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's what I love about Florida. It's so open to the public. I mean, if you're hiding from the public, you really have to try in this state.
You got to bury up deep.
Yeah, and some people do try in this state.
Well,
right?
Maybe they should.
Yeah. So you're like you are like me, I think. You want people to have more of their own money. You want people to have access to good customer service. You want the politicians to be open and honest and reachable and the whole thing. And you were saying that you invested the money from the real estate taxes that came in.
No. The real estate taxes that came in originally they go to the tax collector, and then he transfers it to the county. Yeah, we did invest that money, and we've always invested in T-bills so that we were governmentally insured.
But talk about the banks, how the banks are trying to.
Well, you always had some of the big New York bankers were trying to come down here and get you to invest in something that might not be appropriate for somebody else's money.
Right, the taxpayers' money.
Right, and we avoided that, thank goodness. But I used to chuckle when they would try to explain to me what they were selling, and it would go on for about an hour and a half, and I'd say, in 15 minutes, sum up what you just told me. Blah, 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 blah. They couldn't.
And so your point was, it's the taxpayers' money. You want it to be as safe as possible because you want it to be there when it needs to be there.
It's not my money, it's their money,
right.
And our job is to make sure it's there.
And the other thing that you were talking about was the customer service that you wanted to make sure that people had when they came in to see your office.
Yeah, when they came into the clerk's office, if you had to pay you have to pay a ticket or something. I wanted that person to leave the counter going, I got really good service in spite of the fact that I had to pay money. The customer service was good and it was fast. That's what I wanted them to remember.
And the last thing about that was, I know I asked you about it before, the DMV or the tax collector's office in Lehigh or wherever you got to go. Kim's gone to the one downtown and she has always said that's fast, but the one in Lehigh is like at 8:00 in the morning. There's 40 people waiting outside. By the time the door opens, there's 1,000 people. It's like, what the hell is going on in that building?
You know-
But they're very efficient there too. They have it
No,
down.
no, they're not. You
Well,
have to wait hours. You
well-
plan on half a day there.
The one right here, I think you have to make an appointment, but
Yeah.
you get in pretty quick, and they're efficiently. They get you out of there. I mean, they have good professional people. on staff.
No, the people are great. The
Yeah.
people are great. It's when you finally get to them
Well,
that you
here's-
want to strangle somebody.
after you asked me that question before, I started thinking about it's like one thing that's happened to Florida and particularly Lee County in the last 2 years or 3 years is we've had such an influx of new people.
Yeah.
And all those people are coming in to get licenses. They're
Yeah.
coming in to get license plates. They're going to register their property, blah, 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 blah. And all that takes time. So that's part of it. But the tax collector, from my position, has a lot of duties.
Too many.
in it. Yeah, they could spread those around a
Yeah.
little bit.
So let's talk about the main reason you're here. I mean, you've got such a great legacy. I wanted to make sure we touched on that. I didn't know until this morning that you grew up on Fort Myers Beach, which is so cool. Of course, I'm going off the subject again, but are there any names from back then that you recall that are kind of still here, like Santini and?
Oh yeah, I knew all the Santinis.
Yeah.
Nick, Leonard, all of them. Moody,
Oh yes, Moody. Love that guy.
Santini.
Yeah,
and there's still still some Santinis around.
yeah.
We had InLaw Swope was the deputy sheriff on the island.
There was a deputy sheriff
We
that
had
was
a
like a
deputy-
community police officer.
Yes, he did. And
Yeah.
InLaw was
Wait,
probably
what year was that?
that was in
Approximately.
the late 50s,
So
early 60s.
in the 50s and
through the
60s, you had
yeah.
a deputy down here.
Yeah, and he lived at the end of Palermo Circle, and we lived on Palermo Circle.
Yeah, in
And
one of
then-
those big mansions,
No, we had a house.
a cottage.
Yes, which has since been torn down and now is a big
Oh,
mansion.
what a shame.
But anyway, InLaw was a great guy. He worked with the people instead of abused them.
Or what do you mean by that?
Well, if you were a kid and you did something wrong, he came over and helped you understand why.
Yeah.
As your parents looked on.
Yeah, whack you around a little bit,
No, he was.
Billy
he
club
was,
you?
it was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a
Well,
great community.
little mace in the eyes.
The worst punishment was that probably he took away your beer and dumped it out.
Well, I
never
didn't
drank
drink
beer.
when I was in
What's wrong with
elementary
you?
school.
What's wrong with
I
you,
waited
man?
till junior high.
How dare
No,
you ask that question?
but
Junior
he-
high. What were you drinking in junior high?
I was teasing.
Schlitz?
But he was a real godsend for the island. We had some other folks that'll. I used to sell fish over to across the bridge.
Yeah,
Catch trout and sell them
right out of the bucket.
right out of the boat.
Oh, out of
Trout.
the boat. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You weren't fishing off the pier that's closed
No,
now, and
I
then
had-
just.
Anyway, it was when I look back, it was a great place to grow up.
If
Just
you don't
super.
mind me asking, how old are you?
75.
75. You're in great shape, and you got really cool hair. I mean, how do you keep your hair in such great shape like that?
I wash it.
Okay. Special shampoo or anything, or
No.
do you ever think you use a
Once
little?
in a while, use a little hairspray so I don't. Get
Yeah, I was
blinded.
gonna say any mousse or something. A lot of guests we have use mousse. It's
I
what flavor hairspray?
I don't have no idea. It's
I
whatever
see.
my wife has in the.
Oh, she uses hairspray too.
No.
Okay, she buys it for you. Gotcha.
No, she uses it once in a while.
Yeah. So the main reason you're here, other than we could talk history for the whole hour. I mean, you're like a historian. Is that you're part of an organization that is trying to educate the community about this asinine, bizarre idea to elect the school superintendent. Now, that's just my opinion. You might feel the same. You might not.
You know what? That's my opinion.
Thank
too.
you. Thank you. And so your organization is called?
It's called. Let me give you the correct thing so
You
I
don't-
don't blow it.
Yeah, no worries. And we're going to read what you guys are going to have to look at to quality schools for the future.
Quality schools for
For the future. Yeah.
of Lee County.
Yeah.
And it's quality schools is what you want to remember if you want to donate.
Yeah. And you are raising money because you need to help educate the people on the ballot. Now, Steve's going to hold your microphone because I want you to read what the folks are going to have to try and decipher in November when you're going to go and vote not only for Denise Nystrom, but you're going to vote yes or no. And the vote is no, by the way.
The vote is no. I'll start that by getting that going. Okay, here's what the legislature has put on the last item on the ballot coming up November 8th. Remember that, the last ballot on November 8th. It says, repealing resolution providing for an appointed rather than an elected superintendent for schools. Let me put on my glasses. That's blind.
Don't worry. You're 75, man. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Currently, by resolution of the Lee County School Board, the superintendent of schools for the Lee County School District is an appointed rather than an elected position. Shall Chapter 2022 Laws of Florida, which repeals the aforesaid resolution and provides that the superintendent of schools shall no longer be appointed by the Lee County School Board, but rather shall be elected in a position in a partisan election by vote of qualified electors residing in Lee County for a term of 4 years, beginning with the 2024 general election, becomes effective with a question mark. Now, if you understand that, then you need to vote no.
Nobody's going to understand it, and that the reason we wanted to read that on the show is because that's the way it's going to look in
That's exactly the way it's written on the ballot.
And that it's totally confusing on purpose.
If 6 white mice and 4 canaries fly together to Cuba, what is the time and distance that they will travel? That's how much that means to me.
Who wrote it?
Wait, is there an answer to that question
No,
you just asked?
it's written by the Florida legislature.
So what was that last question? Ask that one again. How did you memorize that?
I just made it up.
You just made that up now.
Yeah, six white mice and 3 canaries go to Cuba.
Yeah.
What is the time and distance that they go?
Well, it's 90 miles. We know that. The mice can't make it. They'll die in the water. Canaries
they'll drown off the pier.
The canaries will be shot down by the Cuban armed forces.
Probably the missiles.
Yeah.
The Russian missiles.
Yeah.
So anyway, the confusing part is the confusing part, and the answer is just vote no.
No.
Unless you now, why do you think that there's this push to get this position elected? They just hired a new superintendent. He's just getting his feet under him. He seems like he's doing a decent job. Sometimes people say the school board is dysfunctional. You can watch some meetings and you can say, well, the school board's kind of dysfunctional.
Well, the school board's got a big job. They've got a $2 billion budget. They've got all kinds of controversy. You've got people out there that are split on almost every issue that comes out on the media. So these people go to the school board meetings. They're rip-roaring and angry, and they're going to take it out on the school board. So the school board, from that's a tough job. But if you put in there an elected superintendent, now they're going to have to fight the superintendent as well as the general public. What you want is a superintendent that steps in there who has experience, who knows how to run an organization.
CEO.
A CEO who runs an organization of $2 billion that has 12,000 employees, has innumerable
12,000 employees.
You want somebody who's got experience and somebody who's qualified. If the school board doesn't like the job that the superintendent is doing, they can fire him. If you elect one, that person would be there for 4 years. It just makes sense to have a qualified CEO running your school and helping the school board do their job.
How doesn't an elected school superintendent render the school board useless?
Well, I don't think it renders them useless, but I think it gets in the way of making decisions because you could have 2 totally different opinions on what should happen for your schools. Schools are probably, next to family, the most important social aspect we have in this country. It unifies people. They get to know people from other walks of life. They go through school with them. They have time with them, and they develop friendships, and it builds a stronger community.
Well, I guess I asked that because if the school board, if the school superintendent, he or she is popular with the voters, he could just ignore anything the school board's telling him. All he needs to worry about or she needs to worry about is being elected the next time around. They can't fire him.
Yeah, that's the perfect answer.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
excellent.
you. The 3 bells for me.
The previous guest, I thought, made a great point. And that point was, if you elect good people to the school board with values that represent those of the community, then you can trust them to make a good decision.
He wasn't in favor of it one way or the other. And if you don't like the school superintendent, elect different school board members.
That's right.
That's exactly right. But if you have the right superintendent who's got the right track record, who comes in here, he's going to or she's going to make sure that the communication between the community, the employees of the school, and the school board are on the same page. That's what a good CEO does.
Right.
They unify an organization.
Right. So Jenna Parsons appears to be the person behind this, but it's never one person. Who's behind this?
I don't really know. There's so much party politics right now and so much money flowing into politics. It's hard to tell who's behind what.
You know, I love the Republican. Well, I shouldn't say that. The Conservative Party. I don't think that exists, but it was so funny last night when we interviewed Alfie. He hates the Republican Party, and he's behind Denise. And I don't think he really had an opinion on. I don't remember if he had an opinion on the elected school board thing, but I mean, it is all corrupt. The whole thing's corrupt. The machine needs to be.
Our lives are many facets.
Yeah.
There are some facets of one party I like, some facets of that party I don't like. There are some things that I wish they would change. There are some things I wish they wouldn't. But the one thing that I think I see now more than anything is this constant line that's drawn in the sand that nobody wants to cross.
What is that line? What do you mean?
They're afraid to express themselves to the other party because they don't want to think they're going to lose votes.
Well, what other party?
Either one.
There's no other party in Lee County, though. There's no Democratic Party. Is there?
There are.
Wait, where are they hiding? Is there any Democrat?
There are Democrats in Lee County, and it's not nobody is 100%. I'm a Republican. I'm 100% Democrat.
Yeah. Well, I don't want the Democrats
to be issue. It should be issue oriented.
Yeah.
And people should be able to express themselves in a civil manner.
Well, the thing too is in Lee County, and I'm not so sure I have a major problem with it, but if they get this passed, they already know who's going to be voted in. I mean, they wouldn't do it without a plan. That's what this machine does in Lee County. They always have a plan. There's got to be somebody that they have that's already in their back pocket that they're ready to get whoever the person is, which is surprising to me why the school board race is so close, because Jada is so backed by the machine. They usually will coast to victory, and it just doesn't. They don't do it without a plan. So who is going to be their elected person?
That's a good question.
Thank
I have no idea.
I get bells for that. You got no bells today yet, Steve?
I got one while ago.
Oh, I see. So where do we go from here, Charlie? How do we fix this mess we're in? What do we need to do?
Well, I think, first of all, we need to make sure we go to the polls and vote no on November 8th on the last issue, the last amendment. And I think the other thing is I think people are ready, I hope, to sit down and talk to each other about differences of opinion. There's nothing wrong with the difference of opinion. Everyone grows and learns something from somebody else. There's not a single day goes by if you talk to somebody, you don't pick up something that helps you, and hopefully they pick up something from you that might help them. Mm-hmm. If you lock yourself in a box, you're not going to learn anything.
I lock myself in a box a lot. I don't know why I'm so dumb.
No, you don't listen. You don't listen,
what do you mean by that?
Your memory's bad.
What do you mean I don't listen?
I told you I was coming to Florida,
and
then you said,
I just ignore you. It's not like I don't listen.
Okay.
If Cindy said she was coming to Florida, I would have listened.
I forgot what I was going to say.
You fit right in here. The 75-year-old guy remembers more than the two of us do.
You're all pissed off now. I don't know what I was going to say.
Charlie,
Steve, welcome to my world.
How much money do you think you need to raise to put on a good campaign for this?
I'm hoping we have about 12 grand right now, a little over 12 grand. I'm hoping we can raise between 25 and 30 so that we can mount some kind of a good program, advertising program to get our message out. The main thing people want to do is if you believe what we're saying and you want to vote no, which you do, then you need to talk to your friends about it. Word of mouth is the most powerful communicator there is.
So before the show started, I was talking to you at your table, and I told you that I'm so confused on which way is better. And then by the time I was done talking to you for 5 minutes, I have a much clearer idea of which way I would vote.
It's really about the education part of it.
And I would vote no. So my point is there's a whole bunch of people out there right now that don't know the issues, don't know which way is the better way to vote, don't understand the issues, and don't know what to do. Can you guys distribute or could you or whoever supports your view distribute very basic bullet points on why it's a good idea to vote
I'm sure
no?
if you go
Yes,
on their
and
website.
if you go on our website, you'll see the bullet points. We're also on Facebook.
Good.
You on Facebook?
I'm personally not on Facebook.
Oh, why not?
But
You
I'm
on,
not a social media guy.
you on TikTok?
I spent enough time with the spotlight.
You did. What was your social media back then? Radio?
Hello.
Do you listen to? Do
I listen to radio? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
What
listen to radio.
stations do you listen to?
I listen to FGCU.
I see.
I like a lot of their programs. I listen to a lot of old rock and roll.
Like, okay, what's your name? A couple bands you like?
I like the Allman Brothers.
Nice.
Jessica's probably one of my favorites.
Oh, I love that song.
So, and you know, I
When you're
I'm-
sitting at home with your wife, chilling out, having a glass of wine, you turn on the turntable. What's the first thing that pops up?
Pink Floyd.
Nah,
we listen to different Spotify, but
you're
we
on the
also,
Spotify. Look at
Yeah.
you,
and we also
modern age.
play a lot of Scrabble where I get my brains beat out.
Scrabble. Yeah, for anyone that's young that doesn't know what Scrabble is, it's a word game, right? It's a word
not-
game, right?
Yeah, it's not Scrapple.
No,
That's a
Scrabble.
food.
No. So Allman
Philadelphia.
Brothers. Allman Brothers. Who else?
I like the Three Dog Night.
Nice.
Um,
Top song, Three Dog Night. What song made it to number one?
The Black and White.
Black and White.
That
Yeah.
didn't it?
Anything else?
I don't know. I'm music. I'm not a big music fan.
Yeah. Favorite president of all time?
I like the great actor
Ronald
Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
Ronald
Love
Reagan.
that. Love that. Yeah.
He knew how to lead, and he knew how to listen.
Worst president of all time?
I hate to say it, but he deserved it. Jimmy
You-
Carter.
Jimmy Carter. Yeah.
You might
Mr.
be
LeMays.
looking at him
Malaise.
right
Yeah.
now.
No. Give him some time. Best Russian president ever?
I like the man that took down the wall,
Yeah.
Mr. Gorbachev.
Right.
Take down this wall.
God bless him. He just passed away. Yep.
Yeah.
Worst
What a-
president of all time?
Worst president of all time of
Yeah,
Russia.
Russia. Yep.
He's in there now.
Yeah.
Rootin',
Yeah.
rootin',
Well, I
tootin',
know there's
Putin.
some crazy other guys in there.
Rootin' Putin.
Khrushchev.
You know,
was,
he's rootin' tootin' Putin. He's absolutely
you worried about getting nuked?
no,
No.
because I know that if he fires one nuke,
We're gonna.
Moscow will vanish.
Yeah, we will turn them into dust, right?
I
Wouldn't
think
we?
so.
Yeah. Do you think the guys in Guantanamo Bay should be waterboarded?
No,
No.
I think the best way to get information from them is put them in a real cold room till they shiver and shiver and shiver.
Hmm.
Then put them in a hot room. Then take
That
them
sounds
out,
like
put 'em back.
torture, different kind of torture. Where'd you learn that?
It's just a thought.
I've never heard that one before. Have you?
No,
Hot room,
no
cold room,
bruises. No
Nope.
bruises.
clothes on,
Make
clothes
your
off,
own. Make up your own mind which climate you want to live in.
naked, fully clothed. How do you do it?
Doesn't matter. You can turn the thermostat up or down, whatever they're wearing.
I see.
I think the worst thing would be to not allow somebody to go to sleep.
Yeah.
That would kill me.
I think if you played Three Dog Night on a loop, that would be torture enough right there.
That's bullshit. Three Dog Night is awesome.
Well, this was fun, Charlie. I mean, how can we help get the word out? Because I'm all with you guys. I'm
Well-
on the team.
Just keep every time you turn on your mic.
Yeah.
So
Quality for
that
schools.
last amendment on that coming up on
Dumbass
November.
amendment. Yeah.
You need to vote no on that.
Quality schools for the future.
That's right.
Yeah. And if I wanted Kim to volunteer, how would I get her involved?
She could get hold of on the internet.
Yeah.
Go on there and look at our website.
World Wide Web it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and get hold of us because
Yeah.
we'd love to have her.
Gotcha.
We're looking for anyone that believes that education needs to be led by people that are trained.
Right.
You know that FGCU has a program to train administrators.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
They have a train.
and I think most every college probably does.
Yeah.
because it's important. I mean, it is the second most important way to
After
have a
family.
great society.
After family. I think the family's kind of falling apart, Charlie.
Well, if you take the family away,
Yeah.
and you take away the school, what the hell's left?
Wow.
Speaking of family, do you think Kim is happy with your questions and comments so far
I
without her being
think-
here?
She's not watching this. She's an hour behind. She's in Austin. She can't hear any of it. I'm going to totally
She-
delete this episode as soon as I go home.
She will be.
All right, Charlie. Well, thank you so much for coming all the way down. And we're here to help. And if if there's other times that we can have you guys on. No, we had, geez, I already forgot who we had on last week.
Miss
On our,
Alessandra.
yeah, that's right. Oh man, former school superintendent
She
Bobby.
was
She was, yeah, she was great. She's a ball of energy, that lady. Gosh,
Yeah, she
she's
is.
great. And we're gonna have Chris Patrica on next week from the school board. I know we'll be asking her about that.
She's a smart woman.
Yeah.
I like her. She's good.
And anything else you want to tell your fans out there? Your history and anything else?
I wouldn't call them fans, but I hope, please.
You're gonna have fans
please,
after today, man.
Please vote no on November 8th on the last amendment on the ballot.
Thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
All right, everybody. Charlie
Nice meeting
Green from Quality Schools for the Future. And remember to vote no. Vote no. Thank you for coming all the way down. And we'll stay in touch. I'll stay in touch. Okay.